I've heard it said and said often. Failing to plan is planning to fail. And I have heard it repeated so often that it has become a cliche. And yet, believe me, failing to plan is planning to fail. And so the gospel of the day comes up with this question. Have you planned? Have you prepared? Are you ready? You know, life is so very strange in that from time to time it gives us this lesson of preparing, of planning, of being ready in a way that only she can give us. A little anecdote from the Titanic as it was sinking. A frightened woman was being lowered into the lifeboat, and she was about to be sailing on the Atlantic Ocean, the frigid waters. But just then she remembered that she had forgotten something, that she needed something. And so she asked permission to be able to go to her stateroom. 3 minutes were given. And if you don't return in 3 minutes, we leave without you. And so she ran and climbed up that already tilting deck, reached her room, and in order to reach the room, she had to pass through the gambling place where all the currencies and coins had gathered in one corner. She pushed aside all that, went into her stateroom, and there were those precious pearls, the jewelry, her necklace, her bracelets, her bangles and rings. She bypassed all of them and reached that shelf over the bed. There were those 3 little oranges. She picked them up carefully, put them in the handbag, and managed to reach her lifeboat on time. There comes a time in life when what we consider to be precious becomes worthless. And what we think is worthless all of a sudden becomes priceless. My dear sisters and brothers, the first reading of the day that was proclaimed to us spoke of wisdom. This is wisdom, knowing what is essential and non-essential. This is wisdom, what is fundamental and what is merely ornamental. This, I believe, is wisdom, what should be first and what needs to be next or last. And so I ask you, from this point of view, are you wise? You know, wisdom teaches us to plan for life, to plan for business, to plan even for a hobby. Wisdom tells us that we need to be prepared. Ask a Boy Scout and he'll tell you that we should be always prepared. Be prepared. And the liturgy of the day, as we are nearing the year end, gives this clarion call for us to be prepared, to plan, and to be ready. For we know neither the day nor the hour. You know, we are living through this pandemic, and we will come out on the other side, more loving, more generous, more faithful, and more committed. I'm sure, and I hope it will be. And yet, it takes a lot of planning, a lot of preparation. And are we prepared? Failing to plan is planning to fail. And if this saying is good for every area of life, it is all the more applicable and relevant and significant and necessary for our spiritual life too. Every morning we wake up. Do we wake up with a plan? Do we have our schedule? Do we have the tasks that we need to turn to? Do we have our priorities right? That's called planning. That is called preparing. And that actually finds us ready. And so the Lord asks us today, have you planned? Are you prepared? Are you ready? Each day as we wake up, if only we could look up to the heavens and say, here I am, Lord. How shall we go about the day? What do you want me to do? Who do you want me to meet? What are the things that I need to accomplish today? Tell me, Lord, I'm listening. That would be preparing. That would be planning. And believe me, that is a good way to get ready for the day. Think of the mother beginning her life. Here I am, Lord. Behold, your handmaid. Let it be done unto me according to your word. And Jesus later on would echo those words and say, not my will, let your will be done. And so discerning what the will of God for you is the best way of planning. That is a way of being prepared, and that is what is going to find you ready to take on the day. And so, sisters and brothers, to conclude, this is wisdom, knowing what is essential and what is non-essential. This is wisdom, what needs to be first and what needs to be next or last. This is wisdom, knowing in the depth of your heart what is fundamental and what is merely ornamental. This is wisdom, loving people and liking things. This is wisdom, leaving all of it and following the Lord. And in this sense, I ask you, are you being wise? Are you planning? Are you preparing? Are you getting ready? We better do it, because as the gospel tells us, we know neither the day nor the hour.